Hello and welcome to my 517 Follow Friday series. Today I am talking with Sheila Hartley from SenseSational Learning Group. Her mission is to empower teachers, parents, and business leaders to create and sustain inclusive learning spaces to support young children as they learn to thrive in our beautifully diverse world. Sheila, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
So I thought we'd start with a little bit about your educational background and just share how you got to this point.
Okay. So I attended Central Michigan University for my undergraduate degree. And while I was there, I was working at their preschool on campus that is regio-based and inclusive. So I met a couple of children with autism, and at the time I had literally no idea what that was, but I was interested in how I could help them learn better and be able to cope with transitions and things like that. So I quickly went on to study applied behavior analysis for my master's.
Wow.
And so I've been working with kids with autism for about the last 10 years or so. And I was overseeing a team of technicians that was doing ABA therapy. And there were some barriers to being able to support students in schools. So I was only able to do home and community.
Okay.
So that's why I started SenseSational Learning Group, is I saw that gap and that need. And especially after COVID right now, there's a lot of schools that really need that behavior help for the really little ones. So that's kind of what I'm helping with. And then I'm about to graduate with my doctorate in early childhood education.
Congratulations. Oh,
Thank
that's
you.
so exciting. I
Yeah.
love that you saw a need and you just said, I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to find a way to meet this need.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great. Um, I checked out your website a little bit, and obviously there are terms there that I'm not familiar with because that's just not my area. I was hoping you could talk a little bit more about the neurotypical, neurodiverse. What does that mean, and how do we identify that? And how does that impact learning?
So neurodiversity is basically any sort of brain development or brain processing that is not typical.
Okay.
So like everybody learns in different ways, whether you're a kid
Yeah.
or an adult. We all communicate in different ways. So to me, I don't know if this is overstepping, but to me, most people are going to be neurodiverse.
Okay.
That's just how it is. But that's kind of how we need to look at education, and we need to make our approaches to learning personalized. It's not a one size fits all. So that's
Right.
the mold that I'm hoping to break too.
Okay. So it's not necessarily about identifying that someone is neurotypical or neurodiverse, because really most people are. It's more about ensuring that the environment and the way that kids are able to learn is diverse enough to meet everybody's needs.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind
And
of. Okay.
yeah, because there's just a few things that need to happen in the environment to make it so that everybody can access what they need at any given time. I know that, like, for somebody that's not coming from that perspective, that's really overwhelming.
Right.
Um, but it shouldn't be too stressful. So that's what I'm here to help with.
Okay. Yeah, I wonder how many teachers or just educators in general, like whether it's administration, all up and down that chain. I wonder how many assume that it's overwhelming and assume that it's a lot that needs to change, and it's just really not. And so the more that you're out there and sharing this information,
Mhm.
the more it's going to infiltrate all those little cracks.
That's what I'm hoping for. But like you said, those terms, not everybody understands what they mean. So I've been trying to
Yeah.
revamp my website so that it's more approachable. And so lately I've been I've kind of like rebranded my title. So I'm a special education and inclusion consultant because I wanted
Oh,
to hit the
okay.
word inclusion,
Yeah.
that I'm fighting for. And then special education, that is like a trigger phrase that more people
Yeah.
understand. So.
Absolutely. Interesting. Okay. So can we talk a little bit about or more about the play-based learning and um, just kind of some of the ways that you can teach educators to tweak things and change things to help with some of those kids that need to learn a different way?
Yep. So we all maybe that Okay. Everybody needs some form of hands-on learning that can look like really different. But play-based learning is especially important for kids. The research shows like up until about age 7 or 8, kids can't sit down for any real length of
Mhm.
time to sit and learn, which
Right.
that's not how our school systems are set up. We're kind of setting them up for failure, unfortunately.
I
So
know.
we need to focus on more of that play-based learning. So the few skills that I focus on a lot with the kids that I'm working with are communication, play skills, and daily living skills. And so if you can
Okay.
make learning part of like a daily routine and
Yeah.
fun, kids are gonna grasp that a lot more quickly than like making it like a drill. That's not fun. It's
Right.
not engaging. Their brain's not gonna be wrapping around all that new info.
Yeah,
How,
absolutely.
how do you feel about play-based learning though? I know that you were excited about that too.
Yeah, so our kids are in Montessori. Our oldest was at Lansing Christian, so private, but traditional classroom styles for preschool through first grade. And so when he moved to Montessori, it was second grade, so he was in a first through third grade classroom for 2 years. And then he just finished up the fourth and fifth grade track, so he's going into middle school now, and he still is going to be able to be on a platform that has some of those Montessori models in it. And
Okay.
he will still be able to kind of pace himself and have a lot of autonomy. But that's going to be a bit of a transition for him. I really think that him having gone through 4 years of Montessori was really good for him because he he's the oldest. He's a lot like me. He's got those perfectionist tendencies. He also tends to move quickly through things.
Mhm.
And so he went through periods where he would get bored really easily in class, and he needed other outlets. He needed to be able to go off and do things. And he really enjoyed a lot of the hands-on Montessori things that he could use in the classroom. Um, and then our younger two, our middle child is in going into first grade. So this will be his third year in the program. And then the youngest is going to start preschool this year.
Cool.
And I've loved everything about the program. I feel like the way that they get to work in class independently or in groups and the way that they're taught has actually made it so much easier for us to do things with them at home. And
Oh,
I don't know how else to explain that, but I just feel like it, I don't know. I just feel like when they come home and talk about the things that they've learned, we're able to engage with them more than we maybe would if it was just
right.
traditional classroom learning. So yeah, I think it's great. I think every kid should have that opportunity to learn in that type of environment.
I agree. So do you think it's because they're learning skills that are more like applicable to daily life? It's not just like what's out of a specific grade appropriate curriculum, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely think there are some aspects of it that have really, especially with our middle child, have helped them to just learn how to be a person, to learn how to just be a human and have some of those everyday skills, um, instead of just learning stuff.
Mhm.
So I've definitely noticed that. I also feel like, and of course, I don't really have a lot to compare it to other than if I talk to friends who have kids in public school, but I feel like our middle son has had more of an opportunity than I expected to develop a passion for something. Going into first grade, this kid he loves art, and he's been given so many opportunities. If he gets his work done, he can go off and he gets his Montessori time, so he can choose to do certain things. And if he wants to do this hands-on activity, he's able to do the things that he really enjoys and really build those skills and those talents, instead of being in this like really structured environment, like, nope, you have to do this right now,
Yeah.
because he doesn't really want to do that. He wants to draw, and he's
Mhm.
amazing.
That's so cool. That gives me hope. Our oldest is going into Montessori kindergarten this next year. Our middle one is going to be attending the same school, but in preschool. And we were
Okay.
excited for the hands-on learning, But
Yeah.
then for a preschooler, like she just needs to be challenged more. Like
Yep.
you said, she moves on so quickly. She masters something like, so I'm hoping that that's going to be a good approach.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been so impressed with our entire experience so far. It's been really great. And I had an opportunity in undergrad. Before I went the lawyer route, I was going to do elementary education. And one of the practicum courses that I went through, I did a placement at a Montessori school here in Lansing. And I fell in love with the method during that semester. And it's just, I'm just so happy that we had this opportunity to actually put the kids into Montessori. Yeah.
Good. Good. So when I'm going into classrooms, I really like to help teachers find how to structure the environment so that kids can be more independent in their play and daily living, but also know how to communicate socially. Because I see so
Yes.
often it's like adult to child interaction. And it's like, that's not how they're gonna progress through life. Like
No.
they're gonna need to know how to talk to each other. And we can do that all through play. And so that's where my huge passion is.
It's interesting that you bring that up because when when our oldest switched from Lansing Christian to the Montessori, it was just before COVID hit. So I mean, he only got September through March of second grade before he was home for essentially a whole nother year.
Right.
But when we did that transition, we talked to his teacher and we said, you're going to have him for 2 years, second and third grade. And which is another thing I love about Montessori is they get to stay with the same teacher for a while. But we said to her, we're a little concerned about his social skills and how he carries himself and just those personality type things. And I don't know what she did with him. I don't know if it was something play-based or if it was just the overall model in the environment, but he improved immensely in those areas before even going into fourth grade. So something about that environment clicked with him and it made a huge improvement, even with COVID in the mix. So
That just gave me chills. I'm so
I know,
happy.
so much hope.
Yes, definitely. Oh, I need to hear that.
Yeah. So you briefly started talking a little bit about, what you try to do. Can you elaborate on your services and, how are you getting connected with people? How are you getting in there and really helping teachers and other educators?
So I've been working with local Head Start programs.
Okay.
And then I do a few different things. It's kind of a spectrum. So I work with behavior analysts to do CEU, like continuing education trainings for them. So I've been traveling around Michigan, just providing these in-person trainings.
Okay.
And then I also provide those district-wide trainings for teachers as well and support staff. I can come in for individual consultation if there are kids with developmental delays, behavior challenges, which that can be a lot of different things.
Right.
I can write up a behavior support plan, which it's not nearly as intensive as when I was doing like clinical therapy. So it's just a list of strategies that after I do a couple observations, I'm like, these are the things that I'm seeing. These are the things that you are saying you're struggling with. This is what I suggest. The teachers can choose what they want to use. I can help them like get the resources that they need to start implementing that. We track the data to make sure that it's effective. If it's not, then we change it. So I can do kind of like coaching for teachers that way. And then for kiddos that are having a lot more trouble engaging in either the lessons or social skills in the classroom, I can come in and be essentially a
parapro.
Parapro. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Is there anything else you want to share today? Anything else about the business?
These questions were really great. No, I can't think of anything. Do you have anything for me?
No, I almost want to share you with, or, share your information with the Montessori program where my kids go to school and be like, maybe she should come in and talk to you guys.
Please,
So
I'd love to collaborate.
I will do that. How can we support you? So, what types of connections are you looking to make in the near future?
I've been looking to connect with more school administrators, the ones
Okay,
that make the decisions to schedule professional development training, or the
sure.
ones that are noticing like, hey, in this early childhood program that we have a gap and we can't support these students with behavioral challenges. So
Okay,
I'm looking to connect with.
awesome. All right. Well, I will share all of your contact information in the caption for the video. If you're watching and you're interested in learning more about Sheila's services, or if you're an educator or an administrator and you know that you need these services, please reach out to her. And then if you're interested in being featured on my Fellow Friday series, please send me an email at katrina@cornerstonelegalplc.com. Thanks for watching.